What's up, everyone? This is Chris, back again with my co-hosts, Crystal and Ty. This is the Pedal Dance Podcast. And so, Crystal, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about Pokemon side games and spin-offs. That's the main topic of our discussion. So let's start by talking about the news. Pokemon recently released a mobile app. I believe it's free, like the last one, Pokemon Rumble Rush. We won't really talk too much about it. It's just a fun little nifty game to download. I recommend everyone downloading it just to get an opinion of it. And if you like it, keep playing it. And if you don't, there's always an uninstall button. And so we wanted to talk about our top three spin-off and side Pokemon games. And we'll be going from 3, 2, and finishing off with 1. But before that, we wanted to go over honorable mentions. So, to determine who starts off their list first, you all just pick a number between 1 and 3.
Oh, we're doing that again?
I guess.
Okay. Let's see. I can't remember. I think last time Chris got to choose one before I could. So this time I'm going to choose one.
I'll choose 3.
Ty, did you say 1?
Yes, I did.
You go first.
Okay, then. See, it paid off this time. Yay. Okay, so my honorable mentions, they're going to have to be Pokemon Go. The reason it didn't make my list is because it is such a huge battery killer and the fact that you do need data to play it. And then also I have to mention the mystery dungeons. Just about all the mystery dungeons that because only one of the mystery dungeons made my list. So the other ones are going to be my honorable mentions, except for Gates to Infinity. Gates to Infinity can burn in the decrepit underworld that's set on fire, because like that's how little I care about that game. Okay, keep in mind I do have to censor my words there, but yes, I am not a fan of Gates to Infinity. But those would be my honorable mentions. So with that said, what about, well, who's going next, I guess? That'd be the next question.
Chris, say yes or no.
Maybe.
Well, Crystal, honestly, I think you should go second since 1 was the number between 1 through 3 that was chosen.
Yeah, and ladies first anyways, so...
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm being chivalrous.
So, an honorable mention, Super Smash Brothers. It's not, in my opinion, it's not technically a Pokemon game, but of course you can play with Pokemon in the game. I think it's genius. I always have fun with it. Melee or Melee, however you say it, that's my favorite of the Super Smash series. And since we're doing side games, just a shout out to the mainstream games for just doing so well. And I also want to give a shout out to Magikarp Jump, because I think that is the best Magikarp game they could come up with, just utilizing Splash so well. But yeah, do you have any honorable mentions, Chris?
Well, it's funny you should ask. I have a couple. My first one is going to be Pokemon Snap. The reason it didn't make my top 3 is because it's just too limited to what you do. I mean, yeah, you take pictures, but the Pokemon that you could take pictures of are limited. It would rank higher if they made more installments with new Pokemon, but since they only had the one game and they only had the original 151, it doesn't make my list. Another one is like Crystal said is Super Smash Brothers series for the reasons that she said. And my personal favorite Super Smash Brothers is Melee. Um, Brawl and everything after Brawl broke my heart for one reason. They nerfed Jigglypuff, and that hurt so bad. And let's see, do I have any more? Yes, I have one more honorable mention, which is Pokken Tournament.
I was hoping one of us would say that.
I love fighting games. I never played Tekken too terribly much when I was younger, or even now. I played it a little bit. It wasn't my favorite fighting game, which I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan, but it's just the cross between Tekken and Pokemon just worked really well. And one of my favorite Pokemon's in the game, and I had to main my favorite. So, which is Chandelure, by the way. And with that, that actually wraps up my honorable mentions. So, yeah, are we ready to start our actual lists?
I know I am. I
Crystal,
will like to add real quick though. I would like to add though. I know y'all mentioned the Super Smash Brothers, and I neglected to do so, but I also feel like I'm one of the only people who do not favor Super Smash Brothers Melee, because honestly, my main in Super Smash is Lucario, and honestly, because every game Brawl and After includes Lucario, I've learned to accept all the newer ones.
you're inferior.
Hey. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to include that since everybody else mentioned Smash, except me.
Okay, I'm just saying this. Jigglypuff is not my main in Smash Brothers, period. My main is Luigi and Princess Peach and Yoshi and Marth and Mr. Game
And
Watch. But I still use I still use Jigglypuff. A fair amount.
Also, I would also like to add that with Pokken Tournament, the reason it didn't make my list is because of the limited character selection, the DLC content, and well, DLC. The C stands for content. Sorry about that double wording. But no, regardless of that, though, whenever I played it, I've been accused of spamming moves before, and I just thought that was the dumbest accusation possible because there really isn't a lot of combos and stuff that you can do in Pokken. So that's
No
why.
offense, Ty, but you are a one-trick pony.
I know more than one trick. Thank you very much.
You might know more than one, but you don't use more than one.
Oh, that is not true. Yes, I do favor one over the other, but if you're using a speed demon, I kind of have to change my tricks.
But you don't.
Looking at you, Eval.
But anyway, I say we get on to the lists. How about you two?
Yeah, sure.
then go
Crystal.
right ahead, Ty. Go ahead and tell us your number 3 and number poopy.
Yeah, see, that's exactly why nobody picks two. But no, so my number 3, that one's gonna have to be, yeah, that one. As much as I hate to say it, actually no. Let me do it this way because I never really did pick an order with these. So my number 3 is going to be Pokemon Shuffle. Why? Because I still play that game. Granted, yeah, it's only been out for a good number of years since like what 2015, 2016. But I still play it on a daily basis. I actually found it to be pretty quality. Keep in mind though that Pokemon Shuffle originated from Troze and all that. It's actually quite good. and it's still pretty challenging regardless. And if you've played it regularly like I have, you've racked up on all the items and stuff, so you're able to progress even further than you would have anticipated to, provided you've kept up with it like I have. But it's just a good game to keep getting into, although it's probably not going to get any more updates. The last time they updated it was when the Alolan region was new. But and so with that being said, my number two is actually going to be Pokemon Red Rescue Team. The reason why the red one is because it was my first rescue team. Well, and honestly, it was just very emotional story wise, and honestly, all the mystery dungeons are good except for the aforementioned Gates to Infinity. But this one was the first one of the series, so I kind of have more of an emotional attachment to that particular game. With that being said, Crystal, I believe it's your turn.
Okay, and it's funny what your number two was because your number two is my number three in general, the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series. But if I had to pick a favorite, it would be the Explorers of Time and Darkness series. I felt like it was very appropriately challenging. The feels were very strong in it. Primal Dialga was ahead of
Right.
its time, literally, since now we
Oh,
have Primal Groudon and Kyogre.
mhm.
And my number two is one that I wish they would have had more of, like the mystery dungeons. I hope this game makes a comeback. That is Pokemon Conquest. It was just such a unique concept of Pokemon. It really got you strategizing and playing it in a whole different platform. It was just really energizing. I mean, it was a little repetitive, but given the platform it was, there's not really much they could have done to make it less repetitive, but it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah, I got to get back on that game. I gave up on it way too soon. I still haven't beaten it yet. So,
Okay, so Chris, do you want to take care of your three and two?
Sure. My number three is Pokemon Stadium. Why did I include it? It was the first 3D Pokemon game. It was so fun. You actually had what?
I didn't really think of that as a spinoff.
Oh, definitely.
Because like those were just the main console games, I thought. Huh. Oh, then I need to update my honorable mention list.
Pokemon Stadium for me was just you had all the Pokemon to choose from the original 149, not including Mew and Mewtwo unless you did certain things. But you still had free for all battles. You could do cups, which progressively got harder and harder as you went. You could challenge the Elite Four. You could challenge the gym leaders in the Elite Four. And most of all, one of my favorite things, if not my favorite thing about it, the mini games. So much fun. My personal favorite mini game would have to be Clefairy Says.
Ah.
Hate all.
I like the Sandshrew one.
Okay, the Sandshrew one's good. The Kakuna Metapod one's good. There isn't really one that's bad. I mean, there are a couple I suck at, but it doesn't mean they're bad. It just means I'm bad.
It's drowsy. Oh no, I think it's
Say
just
what?
drowsy. Oh, the drowsy one.
Oh, I'm good at that one. The one I'm talking about is the Flippin' Ekans and Diglett one.
I'm good at that one. That's the funny part.
I either overshoot it or undershoot it. But anyway, I would rank it higher if it wasn't for one thing, and that is the Pokemon that you choose. The moves that they have are completely nonsensical in the fact that most of the time, especially when it comes to the starters, your middle evolution has the best attacks, better attacks than your final evolution does. That makes no sense.
Well, you could always transfer the Pokemon from Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Yellow.
Yes, you can, but we're not talking about that. We're just going by the game itself.
True.
But for that reason, it just kind of lowered it for me. But still a great game. I still played. I still have fun. Friends and I we'll do blind battles, and what we'll do is we'll blindfold and choose our teams. That way, we don't know what we're getting until it's time to battle. So yeah, that's why it's my number 3. My number 2. This was such a toss-up for number 2 and number 1. But at the end of the day, well, night, since it's nighttime, my number 2 is the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color. Anybody who knows me, anybody who watches our videos knows Ty and I are huge into the Pokemon TCG. Me just a little bit more when it comes to actually playing. No offense, Ty.
Nah, none taken.
And what you do is you get your own starter deck, which you choose from either Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur, and you go around to different gyms, fighting, psychic. Let's see, there's fire, ground, water, grass, electric, science, poison. I'm missing one. But anyway, you go around, you
Thinking of
beat
that
everybody.
question mark guy.
Question mark guy. Imakuni?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. That's just a little fun thing that if you find him, you can beat him. He's not really that hard.
Yeah.
But anyway, you just go around and you battle everybody in each gym to where you can fight the gym leader, kind of like in the regular series Pokemon, regular game, mainstream games. And you collect coins, and whenever you beat the main trainer for each gym, you get a coin. And you collect all 8, and you go to basically what is essentially the Elite Four, and you battle. Oh, and by the way, you have a rival, which you have to battle every so often. And if you beat them, you get free cards. Every time you win battles, you get free booster packs. So
I
that's
know that.
always fun. But whenever you get to the Elite Four, quotation marks, each one's going to have the legendary cards, and that is your goal, is to collect all legendary cards. And so you'll fight them in order. And the legendary cards are the 3 legendary birds plus Dragonite. So you'll fight the one who has Articuno, the one who has Moltres, the one who has Zapdos, and then you'll face the champion, in quotation marks again, who has Dragonite. And to collect them, but turns out that somebody's already beaten you to it, which is your rival, and then you go battle your rival, and then if you beat them, you get the legendary cards. It's just a fun way. It's really true to the actual card game, how it was back then. It's all pixelated and looks really cool. It's just really fun, and it's still really fun to play today. And it's a shame that we never got the second game. We never got it officially over here, but there is a fan translation game, which is really good. I'm playing it now. But the first one's still, to me, better. So that's why it's number 2 on my list. Still
Yeah, and
fun.
if anybody hasn't played it, I also know it's available on the Virtual Console on a 3DS console.
And I
So
highly suggest it.
yeah, so they got that to look forward to. I think it's like $5-6. So yeah.
If you've
Anyway,
never learned how to play the game and you really want to learn, that's a great way to learn.
wholeheartedly agree. So with that being said, I think it's my turn again. Is that right?
Indeed, number 1.
All right. So my number 1. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this one is definitely my favorite one of all time. I've always jumped back to it. It was a game that I was told I could speed run because I'm so good at it, and I think it's also really underrated. And of all
Why do
things,
I think I? Why do
it's
I think?
actually a Game Boy Color game. It's a Game Boy Color game. It's also available on the Virtual Console for about the same price. I think it's $5 though. Uh, and that one is called Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. A lot of people confuse it with the N64 game, Pokemon Puzzle League, but this one's Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. The reason why it's better is pretty much I can sum up in one word: intense. There's an intensity setting on the challenge function of the game, and I've actually been able to beat that. My first time beating it, I had 99 continues because that was the max number I could get. The next time I beat it, it was 15 continues and then 14 the next time. So, but yeah, I have beaten the intense round. However, I do know there's only one person who plays that game on Twitch, as far as I know. And I mean, I've thought about reaching out to this guy before, what have you, but I just have not been able to stream my own gameplay of that. Although I'd like to be able to one day, and to really show off my skills to see just how good we really are in comparison. Since I know there's somebody out there who thinks they're all that, kind of want to put a fix to that. But yeah, so that's my number one game because it's a game I can always go back to. You don't really even have to know anything about Pokemon to play it for that matter, because my parents used to kidnap this game and play it all the time. They'd do the marathon round, and my mom would always choose Chikorita, and I'm sitting there thinking, why are you choosing Chikorita? I used Totodile and Centrant and Togepi, and so yeah. Anyway, but it's yeah. I mean, it's a great game though. I love it. So, and it's very simplistic, especially with the controls. So.
Well, I mean, I was wrong. I thought I knew what it was going to be, and that game did cross my mind for your number one, but I thought it was something else, honestly.
Oh, it is my all-time favorite game. Nothing could possibly top that. I've yet to meet one that possibly could. But I would really like to see a remake. I don't think we'll ever get that though. But
Oh,
it's definitely my favorite game of all time. And I especially love the music on the end credits. It was my favorite part. I'd sit there and hold my Game Boy Advance SP up to my ear like a cell phone just to hear that. But yeah, so with that being said, though, Crystal, I believe you're next.
Okay, yeah, without further ado, my top Pokemon side quest series game. Well, it's kind of two in one since it's a continuation of the first story. So that would be Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness.
I
Did you say boo?
didn't say a word.
Oh, okay, good. I think this was definitely the best spin-off of Pokemon ever. In fact, I like both of the games more than the mainstream games. Like, if you put me in a situation in which I got to decide whether or not Pokemon mainstream games continued or if we got remakes of these games plus an additional new one, I would easily choose the second option. It's just so cool. You get to legally steal people's Pokemon in the name of good. The whole shadow concept, especially Shadow Lugia, was um just out of this world, and Shadow Lugia's design was better than the original Lugia design, in my opinion, and there were just so many plot twists. Like, all these harmless looking characters were the bad guys, and there was a lot of plot twists, and if I had to pick one over the other, I would go with XD just because there were more options to choose from, and you could evolve your Eevee into any of the um
Evolution.
I was about to say how many there were. Yeah, there were 5 back then. Okay, yeah, it was Gen 3. Um, Another reason why this needs to be remade, have every single evolution back then, and I just wish I could take the main character from Coliseum and bring him over to XD, then it would be flawless, just because that main character is just so better looking. I was going to say another word, but I can't say it on the podcast, but And of course, they both had one of the most iconic bad guys in Pokemon history, Mirror B. He deserves his own sides, whatever game. He was just iconic. And I loved NASCAR, that cool white hair in the winds and just thrilling appearance. But I don't want to ramble on. It's my number one, so I'll turn it over to you, Chris.
All right. My number one Pokemon spinoff game is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. What more can be said than what Crystal said? It's just amazing going around in the world, just doing all the missions, catching all the Pokemon, stealing the Pokemon. Having the little device that lets you see which Pokemon are Shadow Pokemon. The little the one thing that bothers me, and it's just a little nitpick, it doesn't take much or anything at all away from the game, is the little sister.
Too
Jovi
annoying
is
for you?
annoying. Jovi is annoying. But I love all the characters. I love the bad team. They just remind me of like really, really, really lame Power Rangers. Because they're all different colors and stuff. I love how every single character that you have to battle and stuff has these weird, wacky names. It just fits. Like some of them you don't even know how to pronounce.
I should really get on this game.
I just love the way a lot of the areas look. They're just really gorgeous.
Oh yeah, that's something else I forgot to mention. Locations were so diverse. No city spot looked identical to another, and the place where you went to purify Pokemon, like that music and that scene was actually calming.
It really was. And I gotta say this. It's already been touched on, but I gotta say it. Mirror B. You can't beat him. Mirror B is the greatest Pokemon villain in any game. What Crystal said about would she rather have the mainstream games continue or make a continuation of or whatever or a remake of XD and Coliseum? Definitely the remakes. No hesitation. I wouldn't give it a second thought. XD and Coliseum, especially XD, is that good. The designs for like Shadow Lugia, like she said, was amazing. It just looked really cool. Plus, whenever you put food down and you can actually go away, you have these little spots where you can actually put food down for Pokemon and actually come back and catch Pokemon, which I thought was really cool.
I would
Unless,
also.
oh, sorry,
Um,
I was just gonna say unless it's a Munchlax or Bonsley, then you just get a headache.
I don't want to talk about Bonsley.
what I wanted to say though was, sadly enough, I didn't really get a chance to play the GameCube Pokemon games. We didn't actually get a GameCube until after Katrina came and destroyed our home. But even after that, I was still a kid, and even though I was supposed to have a say in the GameCube games we did get when we finally did get our GameCube, I felt as though I had no say because we never did get Gale of Darkness or Pokemon Coliseum. As a matter of fact, I didn't get copies of those games until 2014, but I haven't even gotten on those, let alone played it, because somewhere along the lines of becoming an adult, I just stopped playing my stationary consoles, and I feel really bad about that.
I'm just telling you, Ty, it's something that you really owe to yourself.
Oh,
You're
I know.
going, you're really going to enjoy XD. I
Yeah,
mean, me personally, I never really got to play Coliseum. I started with XD. That's bad on me. My fault, Crystal. Don't hate me. Which you already knew that anyway. But even then, it's still just such a great game. You can't beat it.
oh yes, I of course my biased perception, I highly recommend at least getting that experience. And like the thing is, I can't even tell you which one's more difficult because in XD you had villains who had, at some cases, up to 6 shadow Pokemon per team, and of course, you didn't have to at the time, but it was just strongly encouraged and easier to catch all 6 of their Pokemon in the same battle, or you would be waiting a very long time until you got that chance again. And in Pokemon Coliseum, only 1 Shadow Pokemon per villain, but there was one point in the game, it it's not Whitney hard, but it was very challenging. There was a point in the game in which you had like level 20 to 30 Pokemon, and you got to face a very huge villain. I can't remember his name. He looked like a sumo wrestler with period hair. Um, but he had a team of Protect and Earthquake Pokemon, and then his Shadow Pokemon was a level 40 Entei. So his Entei was outrageously strong, and his Entei could faint with Earthquake hitting it. So it was really challenging, and just it really pulls up your adrenaline more than anything.
Plus, ground type movers have a pretty good type advantage as well on top of that. But no, everything I do know about Coliseum and Gale of Darkness came from a neighbor I used to have a couple blocks down. She actually had a copy of both of those games, and everything I know about the games was because I saw her play it. So, such as the purifying station. So.
Well, you definitely owe it to yourself to play it. You're going to love it.
Yeah.
But yes, Gale of Darkness is by far my favorite Pokemon spinoff. I would love a remake. I would love a continuation. I would love both at the same time. I just want it. I want Mirror B to get his own game.
I wouldn't mind it being on a handheld. That would actually do me a lot of favors because I love playing on handheld devices.
Hey, Crystal.
Yes.
Final boss Mirror B with 6 Ludicolo. Are you down?
And the last one Mega Evolves, yes.
Yes. How about all 6 Mega Evolves? Have him screw the rules.
Ludicolo doesn't have a Mega Evolution.
Not yet.
Not yet. There's still time, Ty.
Especially if they remake or continue the games, that would be the best time to introduce a Mega Ludicolo.
We're
Agreed.
getting so off topic.
Oh, well, there's our list for our favorite spin-off games.
So yeah, the next section of this discussion, do any of you two have any side game or side quest ideas that have not been made by the Pokemon Company that you all would suggest to them would be a good investment if they, hypothetically heard this podcast?
Yes, I do. The first one I would want was a game I never got to play because again I was a kid. But Hey You Pikachu, I know there was a lot of people out there who didn't really care for it or what have you, but I never got to play it. I would love to see that game remade, as well as so many others. There's so many other great options. I doubt they could bring back another Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, but I wouldn't mind another game like that as well. I would also like a more up-to-date TCG game. That would be pretty cool. Um, and just I can't remember the last time they had uh, what's the word I'm looking for? A stationary console game that was anything like Pokemon Stadium for that matter. Like because the last one I recall them doing like that was Battle Revolution for the Wii. And I wouldn't mind seeing another game like Pokemon Stadium come out that was more up to date, because that would be pretty cool. And so, yeah, that's about it for my list. So go ahead, Chris.
Okay. Oh, before I get to my list, which I don't really have a list, but when it comes to Hey You Pikachu was really flawed in a lot of ways. Like You can have a brand new copy, brand new controller, brand new microphone, and everything, and it still would act like it wouldn't hear you, or it was just really hard to get it to do anything. It just didn't work well.
Huh?
That's the main reason why a lot of people didn't really gravitate towards it, because it just didn't work the way they made it look on the TV. It did not work that way. I got to play it personally, and it did not work that way. Wasn't my copy, but
That's disappointing.
oh, very disappointing. I tried it for 5 to 10 minutes, and I just gave up because it wasn't doing anything.
Hmm.
So if they remade something like that, I would be down to try it. They just better make sure that they have that fixed. When
Yeah.
it comes to Battle Revolution, it was a flawed version of Pokemon Stadium to me, mainly because you didn't have a lot of Pokemon to choose from. You didn't have that wide selection like you do in Pokemon Stadium. You had these select few teams that were already pre-made that you can only choose from, unless you imported Pokemon teams from your Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum games into the game.
See, because I never got Battle Revolution, but I did have all the handheld games. Well, I
Right.
had Diamond and Platinum anyway. My brother had Pearl.
I got you. We do. I still have Battle Revolution in my house right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like I said, it just, if you didn't transfer any Pokemon on there, you're left with whatever pre-made teams that they have, and their pre-made teams are not good. And
Yeah.
now you can't even transfer Pokemon to them. That's been long since gone, so it's just sitting there.
Yeah, because they lost the Wi-Fi connectivity.
Right. So I mean, there's no, there's nothing to do on there. I mean, yeah, you could try to beat like the little the ranked ladder thing, but I mean, with the select team that you have, that's near impossible,
Mhm.
because most of the teams that you have that are pre-made are not even fully evolved, which I think
Yeah.
is stupid. But
Yeah.
I would like a little portable handheld TCG game. That would be pretty cool. Like I said, um, hmm,
Kind of stumped.
yeah. Crystal, you go ahead.
Okay, with pleasure. So one that I think is a little bit more obvious compared to the others that I have. I think Pokemon contests were fun in the Hoenn region. I believe they could have put more emphasis and detail on that within the games. So I think a spin-off series dedicated to Pokemon contests and just more details and preparation and post contest. I think that would be a nifty spin-off game. I honestly don't see it as a popular idea, but I think it would be appealing to those that were more drawn to that. And it was a huge letdown in Oris when they made so many upgrades, but they failed to make contest interactive with your friends and strangers across the internet. So they need to pick up where they missed opportunity and just make a huge game dedicated to that. And the next one, I just suggest a simple app free to download, kind of like how Pokemon Go took off. Um, this one's a little hard to explain, but Chris, Ty, are you familiar with those really old school games in which you're a character like bouncing on clouds, and then after you bounce on them, the clouds disappear, and you have to try to land on the next one, and if you miss, you die and game over?
Yeah, old school platformers.
That
Okay.
sounds vaguely like some of the Yoshi platforms I've done on Yoshi's Crafted World.
Okay, so you all have a general idea of what I'm talking about. So I think they should do that with Pokemon and just even use Pikachu because, it's the mascot. Or better yet, Pichu. Have it bounce on clouds to keep going up and it'll collect little coins or whatever else to build experience points, and it can eventually evolve into Pikachu, and you'll encounter wild Pokemon on your way, to which um, Pokemon could go in two different ways. You can either avoid them, or you could battle them while trying to get to the next cloud. And ultimately, your goal is trying to get into the Raichu stage and reaching the very tip top. Like, I think that would just be a fun way to pass time and to get more people into Pokemon through that mobile game.
I think most people would probably want to choose their own starters.
Well, yeah, but the Pikachu line's definitely given as one to pick just because it's the mascot.
Of course.
Right.
And other than Let's Go Eevee, I just think maybe they should make a game dedicated towards the Eevee line in general. Like, of course, this is very general and generic, but that line is such a star. They have 8 different options currently to evolve Eevee. Um, you can even just play as a guy or girl that lives with Eevee breeders and go out adventuring with Eevee in its evolutionary stages. You can do contests, battles, helping out Pokemon Rangers. Just just a game dedicated towards them. I think that could be really nifty.
Yeah, that does sound quite intriguing. Definitely worth a lot of thought. Uh, I did want to pitch one other thing that I almost left off though. I was thinking of like because I know some people have actually made like fan art of the idea to have a Pokemon Grand Theft Auto type version game. And the only thing I really would like about that is the fact that you could actually choose to be on Team Rocket. So that gives me the idea, hey, why not a game where you get to play as a member of Team Rocket?
Or not just Team Rocket, but any evil team. Like, if I had to
Oh,
pick one, I'd probably go with Team Aqua.
yeah, I don't blame you.
How about a game where you can play as Mirror B? I'd play that.
Are they allowed to put drugs in Pokemon games?
Crystal,
That
you
was
can play it too.
It cut out a
this,
little bit. What did you say?
I said, Crystal, admit it, you would play it too.
I guess with or without drugs, I would, yeah.
and this
you
would be
know
a Grand Theft Auto.
he's using some.
Oh yeah, very much so. I don't know. I think I'd like to see some type of collaboration with like Pokemon mixed in with Mario Party if you're familiar with that franchise.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that would be a pretty nifty spinoff.
Because I'm a huge Mario Party fan, so I would love to see that.
Yeah. Oh boy, that was a trip. Yeah, that also reminds me, like a Pokemon version of Mario Kart, just racing your Pokemon.
Yes, I was
'Cause I
actually
mean,
thinking that same thing. That needs to happen.
yeah, I know, right? Because like
Hey, I'm
I haven't seen Pokemon race against each other since the Run Rattata Run mini game on the stadium. So.
Well, there's Pokemon Dash, if you count
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. That was another NDS game that I missed out on.
And in Pokemon Stadium 2, there was a Don Fan racing game.
Oh yeah.
And I believe in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you could also do something that was race like
The
towards the
Pokeathlon?
end.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long.
Wasn't that in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the Pokeathlon?
Yeah, so I believe it was.
Oh yeah, man, that's been a while. Man, I can't tell you the last time I got on those games.
But to see Pokemon and go-karts, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be hilarious. Like they really need to drive.
Yeah.
I really.
So, are we done talking about ideas for side games?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so without further ado, Chris, talk about your Pokemon of the week.
All right. Well, I have 3 hints.
Okay.
First hint is mono fire type. Anybody so far? Anybody? Everybody with me?
Well, there are a lot of options.
Yeah.
Hint number 2. It's in the field egg group.
Oh, that just completely stumped me.
Well, don't let it get, well, it is a very common egg group, so don't let that throw you off. Field,
I mean,
usually
I just believe it did.
Usually Pokemon on all fours tend to be in the field egg group, so that can help direct you a little bit.
No, I'm still stumped.
No, this one's going to kind of stump you as well.
Oh, great.
And the biggest anime role it had was when it was sent out to stop Team Rocket from stealing a Pokemon.
That could be anything.
Wait a second.
Do we get multiple choice or nah?
If you want multiple choice, I do have multiple choice.
I think I
Well,
know.
yeah, just because I know there are a lot in field, and there are a lot of mono fire types, and a lot of Pokemon help stop Team Rocket, so yes, choices, please.
Ty, do you want choices?
Uh, I would say, can I guess once before we do the choices?
If you
Sure.
want.
Because the first thing that comes to mind is is Officer Jenny's Growlithe.
Yeah, that was actually what came to my mind first, and I remembered how she said Arcanine for her Growlithe, but
Oh my god, I remember that.
judging Jenny aside,
Well, Crystal?
I mean, I think Ty has a great guess. I support her guess. Growlithe is a mono fire type on all fours, so likely field group, and it helped stop Team Rocket from stealing.
I'll give you one more hint.
What's the last hint?
It's bipedal.
So it can go on. Wait, does
It's
that
on.
It's 2 legs.
2 legs, as in it's standing up?
Yep.
Oh gosh, and it's
I
field.
know. Shoot. Has Charizard ever done that?
I'm pretty sure Charizard has, but I'm pretty certain Charizard's not in the field egg group.
Okay, yeah, you got me there. Because, like I said, whenever it comes to breeding, I just use Ditto.
I mean, the first Pokemon that pops in my head is Typhlosion, but Ty, is anything coming to you?
Hmm. Actually, yeah, Typhlosion is actually it might stand on 2 legs, but it also has the ability to run on 4.
That's what I thought bipedal meant. I thought it meant it could do both. You know, like bisexuals go both
Bipedal
ways.
means that is literally the definition meaning 2 feet.
Right.
However, technically it has 4, but there's some
It
technicalities.
can.
So, Chris, for the sake of Pokemon of the Week, do you count Typhlosion as a bipedal?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of what else.
Do you want the multiple choice?
Yes.
Sure. I mean, I'm pretty certain. I'm pretty like 90% sure it is Typhlosion, but let's go ahead.
All right. Number 1 is Braixen. Number 2 is Heatmore. Number 3 is Simisear. And number 4 is Typhlosion.
I'm trying to remember the anime episodes. I mean, Serena had Braixen a lot, and Braixen helped stop Team Rocket here and there.
I know.
Um, But
Ash
I mean,
never had a Typhlosion, just Cyndaquil, possibly Quilava. Um, Tide, how well do you remember the anime?
well, honestly, whenever I was thinking of Typhlosion, I was actually thinking of Pokemon Chronicles. So I don't really know. And then Cyndaquil, I don't really think because I got a book that said that Cyndaquil doesn't even evolve. Like he was Ash's Pokemon, but he was also Ash's Pokemon that was notorious for going the longest without evolving. And when he did finally evolve, he it only stated that he evolved into Koalava. He didn't make the full upgrade up to Typhlosion. So I'm kind of ruling that one out. However, Heatmore. That one was Unova region, isn't it? And I don't really remember the Unova region anime all that well because Iris and and Silent were usually way too boring for me to keep my attention.
Yes, annoying too.
Yeah, especially with that catchphrase. Ugh. If it wasn't for Axu, I wouldn't even give it a chance. And then of course as you mentioned, there's Breakson, which of course makes the appearance in Kalos, and you do some valid points there on the part of Breakson. But honestly, I don't know Breakson's egg type group. I guess it would probably be filled considering its pre-evolved form is a Fennekin, which fits the description. But based on my
What?
knowledge, I do think Breakson makes the most logical amount of sense.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I do not really watch a lot of the Unova anime. I think Chris knows that because I hated Iris and Silence so much. It's the one season that I proudly do not watch. Well, I did
Oh,
watch.
I'm
I
pretty
gave
sure
it
it
a
was more than one
chance,
season.
but yeah, no one regularly had Did you say Semi-Seer?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Sinister was the other one. Yeah, I see. I don't
Yeah,
even remember an episode with that. So,
and
So
no one really.
what's the decision?
Oh, hold on, I'm just still thinking out loud. I knew no one had heat more regularly. I do have a question. So when you said stop Team Rocket from stealing Pokemon, are you specifically referring to Jesse and James Team Rocket or Team Rocket as an organization? Because as Ty did say in Pokemon Chronicles, Typhlosion, I think, fits that description.
mhm.
Well, I'll just say this: it was in the main show. It was not in Chronicle.
Okay, so
Here's it
I
down.
I am leaning towards Breakzin now because I am pretty sure almost all fire starters besides the Charmander line are in the field group. What about you, Ty?
I'm gonna have to agree with you on the breaks, and I think that's pretty much gonna be our final answer.
So that's both of your final answers?
Before we lock in the answer, your hints only attributed to one of them, and they all do not share all those in common, right?
Um, well, they all shared everything except the last one,
The Team
Naturally.
Rocket one?
the anime episode. That's the
Okay.
only one they don't share.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. So, yeah, is it Breaksin?
No.
Gosh, Serena sucks.
Okay, so it's got to be a Unova one.
Most likely, because uh,
Yeah, because we just ruled out everything else.
well, I want to rule out Heat more the most, just because it's so forgettable. But I'm still leaning towards Typhlosion.
Well, because I remember Silent had a Pansage, but Pansage would evolve into Semi-Sage, not a Semi-Seer. But it wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me none. It wouldn't surprise me none that Semi-Seer may have also gotten included somehow.
Oh yeah. So that's why I'm ruling out Heat more the most because I see Simisear playing more of an important role than Heat more. But
Yeah,
Typhlosion would be
even
my
though
second guess.
even though I did not see the Unova anime, I did still watch the movies because at least I can do that much. Oh, geez. Uh, so that alone kind of gives me some incentive there.
All right, so final answers now. Who are you picking?
Simi's here.
All right.
Typhlosion.
The Pokemon of the week is Typhlosion.
It is Okay, so whose type explosion? Because it couldn't have been Ash's.
No, it was not a main character.
Yeah, I occasionally they have wild Pokemon help out, other characters Pokemon help out. It just usually ends up being a mainstream character most of the time.
Was this a
It
Johto episode or was it?
it was a Hoenn episode.
Ah,
It had to help out getting Flannery's Torkoal back from Team Rocket,
okay.
and it was Flannery's grandfather's Typhlosion.
Ah, yeah. I think the most I remember from Hoenn is usually from the Master Quest series because I remember the baby Lugia. Yeah. Yeah.
I gotcha. I think that's the only episode I actually remember of that. But
All
with
right.
that, with that, I think we should call it. It's midnight. I've been up since 2 a.m. yesterday. So
I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Ty, you can come up with the Pokemon of the week for next week if you'd like.
yep, it's
Okay.
your turn, Ty.
All right.
And with
Should
that,
be.
this is a wrap. Crystal, you want to finish it off like usual?
I suppose. So, yeah, thank you all so much for listening to the Pedal Dance Podcast. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you all have any suggestions, please leave those below. We love suggestions. Eventually, we'll need some. um,
Put
but
the poop emojis in the comments, please.
But yeah, that will be all. Until then, you all have a great night, day, whatever, whenever you're listening to this.
Mhm.